Hello and welcome to the Long Island Weather Update. It's 10 o'clock on February 14th, 2024. Happy Valentine's Day. For those of you who have somebody, I did get to see some of my Valentines today, as in pine trees, pitch pines here at Pine Lawn. I didn't want to walk in the snow too much. I have a short video that I just uploaded for you, but I didn't want to walk in the snow too much, and it was so windy out there too. My gosh, but I couldn't pass up the sunshine. It looked nice with the snow. Though I didn't really want to walk in it because I do have boots, but this kind of snow is so waterlogged that it would just. And this is at Mill Lake at Wantaw. There, pretty sky, especially later on in the day. We did have some clouds in the earlier part of the day. Looking at the satellite, you really can't see the clouds against the white of the snow, and you can see where the snow fell. This actually is a pretty neat picture. It shows where the snow. You see nothing in Jersey. You can see where the snow fell over Long Island, the Hudson Valley, and then the cutoff north of Poughkeepsie. You can see this just shows the track of the storm so well. It's really quite an amazing picture from the satellite. Looking at our current satellite, you can see clear skies over us now. If we go throughout the whole day here, I can rewind this back to 96 frames again. You can see there's that snow again. You can see the streak of snow that came across the area, and there were a few clouds, but we had a lot of wind as what we had, a lot of wind today. So let's go look at our observations here, and you can see some winter storm watches and warnings across the northern tier. But let's go into our area and take a look at what's going on outside right now. And you can see it's still very windy. We still got wind gusts at 24 miles an hour, 28 degrees at Islip. That wind makes it feel pretty chilly. Interesting, less wind in Jersey, and it's actually colder there, 21 in the Pine Barrens west of Toms River, whereas here we got the wind and no radiational cooling. Looking what the day was like at Islip, we'll go ahead and take a look at that for you. And you'll see we really struggled to get above freezing today. Mid-30s was all we could do. And you could see some of these winds, too, really strong winds here. 33-mile-an-hour wind gust. We had gusts even higher than that in the morning, 36 miles an hour. Really just difficult to walk around in those kind of winds. It's part of the reason why I wish I could have done a bigger hike, but it was just so windy. I just don't like walking around when it's that windy out. Look at that, a 42-mile-an-hour wind gust there at Southold. That's probably why we got these gale warnings in effect here. Yep, small craft advisories as well because of these winds. So let's take a look at the highs for today, and you'll see highs mid-30s. Did get above freezing, mid-30s, upper 30s in the city, and upper 30s to around 40 in Toms River. So close to normal today, maybe a little bit below. The lows this morning, upper 20s. Didn't get any radiational cooling, though there is some in Toms River, 21 degrees, even though there is no snow on the ground. I'll have to see if we manage to get any radiational cooling tonight with these winds. I have a feeling. I doubt it. I really do doubt it with these winds. We'll have to see what happens with that. So let's look at our statistics for the day here. And Islip, we had a high of 35, so that is below normal. Normal high is 41 now, so that's 6 degrees below normal. However, the low of 28 was 3 degrees above normal, putting us 1 degree below normal for the day. Looking at Central Park, warmer there, got up to 38 degrees, and that was still 4 degrees below normal on the high and 2 degrees below normal for the day. We'll just look at Newark, New Jersey, 39, and they were right at normal for the day. So this one looks like the snow reports. I think we went over them yesterday. Yeah, these were all the ones we went over. I'll put the link below if you want to look at these snow reports, but I'm not going to go over them now. The snow is slowly melting, but this morning it was really I think it was very icy out, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I'm sorry. I wish I could have done a bit. I really wanted. I didn't want to. If it wasn't for all that snow, maybe, but I didn't want to walk in all that heavy, wet snow out east, and then I would have had to go to Jersey if I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to go to Jersey, so that's what I did. So hopefully you enjoy that little video that we have for you. Anyway, let's go look at the models, and luckily Tropical Tidbits is back up and running again. It was down earlier, and I'll tell you, if it was down, I don't know what I would have done. I can't use Pivotal, so Pivotal, I'm just going to go on a little rant here on Pivotal. A lot of the other people in the weather use it, and they have to pay, actually, to get not only to get access, but to pay to actually show you. Because the people who run Pivotal are, well, what can I tell you? They're snobs, so they want to be greedy. So anyway, luckily we have Tropical Tidbits back up and running, which is free and open to all, the way it should always be on the internet. But anyway, let's look at our setup now. You can see those tight isobars between that high and that low pressure system offshore. So and that thing's actually pretty wound up. I should not have closed the Modus satellite because we want to take a look at what this thing looks like. Take a look at that. That is the storm system right there. Really deep storm system. They're probably getting a lot of snow in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia from this thing. It's really, really deep. Really deep, and I'm sure it produced a good snowstorm for them as well. Who knows how much snow they got over there, but I guess I'd have to put the weather and hazards back up if we wanted to look at and see what the day was like in Nova Scotia. Why not? Because I'm sure they're dealing with some pretty rough conditions. Let's take a look and see, because I'm sure, let's see, gusts to 28. Let's see, we have, that site isn't even giving us an actual air temperature. Let's take a look at Halifax. It's 20 degrees. Let's see how much snow they've gotten. I'm kind of curious about actually, and if they got any snow there or not. I don't know if they got any snow. I don't see any snow being reported, so maybe the storm actually missed them, I guess. I guess it didn't really hit them, but those wind gusts are impressive. I'll tell you that right now. Again, looking at iSlip here, I don't know what the peak wind gust was today. 38 miles an hour. JFK had a peak wind gust of 41 miles an hour today. And even Jersey had to deal with these winds too. Miller Air Park had a wind gust of 33. That's not too bad. But yeah, the winds are definitely an issue today. Very strong winds. That's why I don't like closing that weather and hazards map, because I like to come back to it sometimes. But anyway, you see the pressure gradient between this high and the low that's departing. That high moves down to the south. We get back into a southwest wind tomorrow, and that'll bring in warmer air and more clouds. Here comes our next system, a Clipper-type system that's going to come through and maybe bring us a chance for a rain and snow shower tomorrow night. And behind that, we're again breezy again. The winds are going to be a little more from the westerly direction, so it won't be as cold on Friday. And then here comes the next Alberta Clipper, which could bring a little bit of snowfall, more likely to south than not for Friday night and Saturday morning. It's just an Alberta Clipper. It's going to develop too far east to really give us anything. And then some colder weather moves in for Sunday into next week. You see high pressure there over us there for next week. So let's take a closer look at what we have going on here and the HRRR model here. So look at the HRRR model. So here is the 0Z HRRR. Again, that high moves offshore. You see, here comes this this front. It could bring a quick rain or snow shower tomorrow night, and then that moves through, and then you could see tighter isobars again, so we're going to be dealing with more windy conditions on Friday again. And then here comes the next system. Obviously, it's out of range, but this is the next Clipper that's going to come through. So these are actually Alberta. We haven't really had many Alberta Clippers, but we're starting to get them, which is good. I'm glad to see it. It's something that we used to get all the time, but the past couple of winters we just haven't had them. And they usually bring a quick little, maybe a little snowfall or shower, and then it gets colder behind them. So let's get our dew point and wind flow tonight. So you'll see the northwest winds continue tonight. I don't think they're going to go calm. I think we're going to stick with the winds, but maybe some areas in Jersey might get a little radiational cooling. Other than that, I don't really see it. You'll see, again, that really cold air is up to the north and the east, and you see it already starts retreating tomorrow. The winds go to the southwest, and then here's the system for Friday. The winds shift back to the west on Friday. Northwest winds again, and you'll see the dew points drop again. But that air is not as cold as this air will be. So here we go, looking at our temperatures tonight. HRRR as Long Island, a lot colder than Jersey. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's bringing radiational cooling in. We're still we got a ways to go to drop to the teens. I don't know. I think it's going to be more my low to mid 20s for lows. Whatever reason, it has it warmer in Jersey. I don't know if I agree with that. Unless the wind drops, I don't see how it's going to get any colder. And then the cold air retreats tomorrow. We get a little further up. The HRRR was a little low on the temperatures today, so I'm thinking more like upper 30s maybe. So close to average tomorrow, I think, for highs. And then we don't go below freezing tomorrow night with the southwest winds. And then for Friday, starting off in the 20s, and then we're going to be in the, again, the HRRR running a little cold, showing only like mid to upper 30s for Friday. Looking at skies, tomorrow we're going to have more of the clouds coming in, so we start in the morning. You'll see that we got the high clouds coming in, though we got a good spread in the lower levels, and then by later on we'll have the high clouds kind of coming in. And then for Friday, I think we're too far. I don't think we're going to get a sounding for Friday. Let's see if I can get one on this. Yeah, you can see they're kind of close to each other on Friday, so we'll have to watch again for the possibility of stratocumulus. Today we didn't really have that much. It looks like a little further apart in Jersey for Friday. So we want to go a little further. Let's go to the GFS and take a look at what's going to be happening. So again, here's that chart. Here comes the next front coming through, and then we get another. See, there's the next reflection of the next clipper, and then that brings in. Sunday was supposed to wind up being really cold, but again, you can see the westerly wind, the really cold air, unfortunately, staying up to the north. So we're not really going to get that cold on Sunday. It's going to be a little bit below normal, but not by much. And then, unfortunately, so let's go look at our temperatures now. These are our dew points and wind flow. But you can see no purples. So the purples stay to our north and east. That's the colder part of the air mass. So yeah, it's showing warmer conditions. So I think we'll have 20s tonight for lows. Tomorrow we'll get into the upper 30s to around 40. Friday, we're probably going to be around 40 degrees, so close to average on Friday. And then for Saturday, here comes that clipper coming through. We're still going to get into the upper 30s to around 40. And then for Sunday, behind that clipper, it's not really that cold. We were supposed to have a much colder day on Sunday. If we go back and look at an older run here, if I go back to February 11th, all right, it's not really, I think I have to go back a number of days here. February 8th. Yeah, you can see it. It's colder. It's showing colder. So it's definitely showed much colder weather. And if we go back even more to like February 17th, the 18Z run, but it's not as, I can go to the 12Z run. It's still the same deal. So it's not really cold air. We're not getting any Arctic air. It's just polar air and borderline polar air at that. And then once we get into the next week, we're going to have that moderation trend. So you see here comes that moderation trend. It's showing a little shot right over Tuesday maybe, but they're all drifting by to the north, and then here comes the southerly flow again. All right, and we're kind of going into the long range. Now it is showing. Now we're going to have to wait till next Friday to get into some possible Arctic air that it's showing there. That's the purples, but it's just always a glancing blow. Here's Sunday. It's always a glancing blow. We need it to come straight down, and that's the problem. You can see here Friday, and no real bitter cold here, and that's that even Arctic air it is the question at this point. So let's go look at the skies next, and also let's go look at the precipitation. So let's go to the NAM here, and to visualize our next clipper here, we'll look at the NAM as well, so we don't have all the information. As far as tomorrow goes, it's not going to amount to much, that one, but the second one's a little more robust for Saturday, and that could possibly put down a coating to an inch of snow, perhaps. Let's see what the NAM is saying for snowfall here. Yeah, coating to maybe a little more likely to the south. But still, even in southern Jersey, maybe you get an inch or two. But that's going to be it. It's not going to be very impressive. It's just a clipper right now. It doesn't look like it's going to get any coastal storm characteristics or anything like that. We'll talk more about that as we get toward the weekend. So let's go look at our skies here on the GFS. Obviously, starting off with sun, but then the clouds increase tomorrow. High clouds Friday. Should be mostly sunny. We'll see if we can pull off a mostly sunny day on Friday before the clouds come back in for Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll have to see here. It's showing a lot of cloudiness again for Sunday and a little more sun for Monday, which I believe is President's Day. And then as we get to Tuesday, we'll have sun, and then we have an increasing high clouds there. I really don't want to go any further than that on the skies here on the GFS. Let's go to the RGM here, our better cloud model, at least the one I like to use. So it's showing mostly sunny conditions to start, then the clouds kind of come in. So you might have a nice clear sky in the morning, but by 11 o'clock the cirrus starts rolling in, and there's your front right there. And then for Friday, it looks like it's showing mostly sunny. It looks like it is showing a little wave of cirrus there, maybe moving over Jersey on Friday, but not so much for us. And then the next area of clouds with the next Clipper type system that we would have here to deal with. So let's look at the this for a moment here as well. This is the 0Z. I don't want the 0Z. I just want to see what this looks like, or the Clipper looks like on this. Oh, there's the Clipper on the RGEM. I'm going to go to the NAM3 next. Let's do that. Let's look at tomorrow's system here on the NAM3. Upstate, you might even get a decent snow squall out of it, but it loses a lot of its punch by the time it gets here. This is tomorrow night. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow night. And then here's the next system for Saturday. Again, just a very weak, flat Clipper type system, so it won't really bring much snow, but it may bring an inch, maybe, or two, mainly to southern New Jersey. I don't think we'll see much of anything from that. But with these temperatures not getting that warm, we're going to melt some of the snow, but a lot of it will still be on the ground. But at least, hopefully, we'll at least get rid of the slush and ice. It's a lot better by this. This morning was bad, but this evening definitely was a lot better. So let me just peek a little bit into the long range. We'll peek a little bit to the long range. Let me change the model to the GFS here. We just peek a little bit into the long range here. We'll go to the North American view and just take a look at the upper air and the jet stream. So we'll first start with the upper air here. This is the GFS at 18Z. I'd rather use the 12Z run because I want to kind of compare it with the European. So there's that big storm out there. You can see troughing in the east. And you think there's a connect. Oh, yeah, look at this. There's a nice northerly flow here, but it's actually, it's because of the Pacific not cooperating, this flow is just coming out of Canada. It's not really bringing any bitterly cold air down with it on this. So you think, oh, yeah, it looks good. But then what happens? Look at that trough in Greenland again. This is the 12Z. So we're actually missing some things. I guess when the site went down, it affected some things. And then this is you can see it looks stormier as we get toward the end of the month. But then on that very last frame, we'll have to go use the 18Z because we've lost some information on that 12Z run, probably due to the outage. But you can see there is still troughing in the east. It's not a terrible pattern to be in. It's not terrible. It's just no real bitter cold because we don't have do have that ice. It does look a little better as we get toward later on. You got to have that opening to let the cold in from the Arctic. And there just isn't as much Arctic air to go around, so that's the other thing. So that's the upper air on the GFS. Let me go to the European next here, and we'll go to the 12Z. Oh, yeah, we're missing the 12Z European. We don't even have it because of the site outage. So all we have is the 18Z run. I'm not going to go back to an older one. But definitely the European's a little more impressive with the troughing as we get toward the weekends. The European might actually be a little colder for Sunday, I'm thinking. We'll go ahead and look at that. But first, let's go back to GFS, look at the jet stream here. And you can see the problem. All right, that's we're missing data on the jet stream. So I may not be able to show you that. Or we have some information here. You can see we still have a fire hose. That's the problem. The fire hose is still going, though it does tend to weaken as we get toward the end of the month. So I'm not even going to bother looking at the polar vortex because we know that's probably with the missing data we're going to have trouble seeing it. If I go to this Northern Hemisphere view, who knows what we're going to get out of this. All right, well, we do have stuff out of it on the 12Z. Nothing. Have the 18Z? Yeah, we have nothing on the 18Z. We'll do the 12Z and just show you the polar vortex here. Yeah, and you can see it definitely looks like it's trying to split there. So we'll have to see what happens. Definitely is a split. Only is more favorable. That's for sure. All right. And just look at the North American and just take a look at the North American view at the temperature anomaly. And again, we're kind of having issues with the data availability here. 18Z don't even have that. So some products we don't have. It's just show the Arctic air. And see, there's no real big Arctic air outbreaks. There just isn't. We just don't have that. So let's go to windy.com. I know I'm making this a long update, but I figured let me just discuss this while we're discussing it now. And look at the European as far as the weekend goes with the temperatures. And see if it's running any colder than the GFS. Because it very well may be. definitely looks like it is running a little colder for Sunday. You can definitely see it as temperature struggling to reach the 30s, but still, it's not Arctic air. It's not Arctic air. Friday's definitely not Arctic air. So, unfortunately, where is the Arctic air, you may ask? Well, uh, probably on the other side of the globe. I could pull this out here. Let's see. This kind of shows where the Arctic air is. You can see here's the Arctic air here, but the problem is the flow's coming from Western Canada where there isn't any Arctic air. Plenty of Arctic air in Siberia, of course, but no real. Again, with that jet stream, the Pacific is not cooperating. You still have. You can kind of visualize what's going on here in this picture here, and I'm going to leave it at that before I wrap up this weather update here. So you got your low over here because again we're missing information on tropical tidbits. So here's your low right here, and this is the problem. So you've got the Arctic air over here. You've got it over here like this. But the problem is, as long as you've got this low over here, so I probably don't even need to draw that line. Let's just simplify it. We'll just do it like this. So here's your low here, and the low is just the Pacific air is just racing into the west coast, racing into Canada, and it's not allowing this bitterly cold Arctic air to come down into the United States. So it's making it into eastern Canada, as you see here, but it just can't make it down any further because of that. And that's the problem. The Pacific is just not cooperating for any real Arctic air. But hey, at least it's colder. At least we're not in a blowtorch pattern. So it's better than what we could have, I guess. But I like the bitter cold, and we need the bitter cold. It's important for the control of the southern pine beetle, and we're not getting it, and that's the problem. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this video here. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.